There, this is Kellis Landrum from True North Social. We are a digital marketing agency based in Los Angeles, California. We specialize in e-commerce website design as well as social media and SEO. So this is welcome to the latest installment in our series about e-commerce website design. Today we are going to talk about the homepage of an e-commerce website. So I thought we'd start with talking about what makes a really good homepage for an online store. This is generally the first thing that most merchants think about when they start thinking about their online store. And in fact, when most people think about their e-commerce website, what they picture in their mind's eye is the homepage. And there's a lot of different things you can do with a homepage. But there's a strategy behind it, or at least there should be, right? It could be that you have a great business in retail, or maybe you're doing wholesale and you're thinking about opening up an online store and extending that business online, which is a great idea. A lot of times it's a little bit difficult for merchants to kind of wrap their brain around how to talk about who their company is or what their company offers. And usually the homepage is the place they want to do that. And there's a particular way to do that we found to be very effective. And the word that I want to drill home to everybody watching this is merchandising, right? If you are in a physical store, especially any chain store that you've been to in a mall, they have an entire team of people dedicated to merchandising. And what that means is there is a plan behind getting you to do certain things or buy certain things when you come in contact with a merchant. Any merchant should have a strategy around how they're going to get people to buy a certain product or a certain type of product, how they're going to promote seasonal events like Labor Day sales or Black Friday sales, if they're going to promote certain specialized things that people can buy through their website that maybe they couldn't buy through others. This is basically where you want to educate people about what is unique to your store in particular. So with that in mind, I'm going to break down a couple examples of sites that we have designed as well as some templated stuff. I am going to use Shopify as an example, but the same basic ideas would apply if you wanted to do a site on Magento or WooCommerce or Demandware, anything else that you wanted to build on. The e-commerce principles apply the same across the board. Just, whatever platform you're building on, the method to get you where you want to go might change up a little bit technically. So let's start with looking at this site, London Porter, that we designed. So let's talk a little bit about how this site merchandises. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying London Porter is a company that sells gifts for children, and generally, pardon me, they're fairly high-end gifts. They're fairly expensive. This is not the kind of thing you'd buy at Walmart. As an example, we did a photo shoot for these guys. And you'll notice this child is wearing this jacket with this hoodie and these striped pants. And he has a toy fox, and the fox is wearing the same hoodie and the same pants as this kid. This is a fairly high-end gift, right? So their idea was they were putting together these high-end gift boxes with high-end gifts in them. And they needed some help communicating the value of this gift, right? So we talked to them about, okay, what is the mindset of the person who's purchasing this? Someone who buys this type of gift, they really want to use this gift to communicate something about themselves and about the way they feel about the people to whom they're giving the gift. right? If you're spending $20 on a gift, that says one thing. If you're spending $150 on a gift, that says something a little bit different, right? So the idea here is, these are customers who have money and they're not just buying any gift. They're looking for the perfect gift or, some fantastic gift to give to these people. So we put together a banner, and you'll notice this doesn't explain the entire concept, right? The only real goal is to get, as soon as someone comes here, if they don't do anything else, to get them to click on the Shop Now button and go to the shop collection and start seeing some products that they might like, right? Next, we have a series of collections. They have a collection of toys, a collection of clothing, a collection of pre-built gift boxes, and a collection and a build your own gift box, which is something very specialized we did for them. As we scroll down, we see a little bit about thoughtfully curated gift boxes that are sure to delight that special someone. You can either shop gift boxes or build your own, right? One of the things we clearly wanted to direct people towards was either buying a pre-built gift box or using this build your own gift box feature. So this is there, you'll notice there's not a lot to this in terms of choices. There's only 2 choices to this, right? I think this section actually has the most choices, which is 4, if you want to look at it that way. But one of the kind of rookie mistakes I think I see a lot of newer merchants making who are trying to DIY this is they just throw too much at a customer all at once. They ask them to read and they give them too many choices. Instead, what we like to do is take the approach of just spoon feeding people a couple of choices and letting them find their way through. The next section is featured gifts. You'll notice there's only 4 of these. You can go more than 4, maybe 8, something like that. But again, I wouldn't overwhelm a customer with choices right from the get-go. I do recommend showing a few featured products. I generally recommend whatever is sort of your easiest sell, whatever is the low-hanging fruit, put it on the homepage, right? So if somebody were to come here and say, I don't know what to buy, I'm not sure what kind of gift I'm getting for this child, but what's something that looked nice? Oh, there's a cool little cat, and oh, here's a nice box. Maybe I should just get one of those. And sometimes you'll get these people who are just in a hurry. They just want to get something and go. So they'll see one of these items, they'll add it to their cart, and they'll check out all within the space of a couple of minutes. I find a lot of merchants don't want to believe it's this easy, but these are actually your best sales. The people who you don't have to convince, they have money, they just want to get something nice and then move on, right? We generally recommend this. We also since we shot a lot of photography, we decided to show a lot of nice lifestyle images on here. Photography sells better than anything else. A picture really is worth 1,000 words, and showing pictures of products that you sell that kind of give someone an idea of the lifestyle. This goes a long ways in just branding, right? It really separates a commodity product from a branded product, right? Because if you're just looking at a big pile of toys, you're tempted to just go, okay, what's the cheapest one, and then move on. But when you really start to look at nice photography, you start to go, what's really nice? You know what I mean? What's going to make this person think that I picked out a really thoughtful gift for them? Or what does this product say about me? What can I envision about the person who is going to receive this gift and how happy they are? when they get it, right? Being able to show these things is really valuable and worthwhile. So this is just sort of a general example of merchandising strategy on a homepage, right? Just to briefly mention the last video we did about header and footer, the homepage is sandwiched between the header up here and the footer down at the bottom. So your homepage is going to be whatever you are working with in between the header and footer. Now, to kind of break down what we would recommend as a best practice, I know I mentioned customers don't read, they scan, right? So I want to show you kind of what this looks like when somebody comes to a site, because we've done user testing and we watch people scroll through our websites and look at them. Here's kind of what it looks like. They'll load the page and go, perfect gifts. Ooh, toys, gift boxes. Ooh, I like that gift box. Oh gosh, those kids look fun. Ooh, okay, curated gift boxes. That's great. Featured gifts. Ooh, I like those gift boxes. Ooh, pretty pictures. Ooh, those are really nice. Okay, what was I did like this one box. Maybe I'll click on that, right? All of that was probably 20, maybe 30 seconds of time that I spent scrolling through this entire page. And here's where I'm going is when people come to an e-commerce website, they don't read, right? They scroll through the entire thing in maybe 20 or 30 seconds. They don't read text, they just read headlines. And sometimes they don't even read that. They just look at pictures, right? And go, oh, what did I find interesting? And then assuming they found something interesting, they will come back up to it and take a look and go into it. And they might bounce around your store a little bit this way. But what I'm saying is, do not make your homepage text heavy. Don't make people have to read or really think about where they're going, because they just won't, right? If you're going to make them read, assume that they will read 2 to 5 words at a time. So make those words big, right? This is about perfect gifts, right? This is about toys, apparel, gift boxes, and building a box. This is about thoughtfully curated gift boxes. Who cares what the second line says, right? And featured gifts, and then a bunch of pictures. And really, most people like looking at the pictures. So this is just kind of an idea. Giving people some very obvious calls to action. People will generally click on buttons. One thing I recommend is some out-of-the-box themes will make the buttons a link. What we try and do if we design custom themes is, if you have a button sitting on a big picture, make the entire picture clickable. I don't know if you can see my mouse hand up here, but when I hover over this picture anywhere, I see the little link hand appear. When I roll off of it, it just goes back to the arrow cursor, right? It's because this entire box here that this image sits in is a clickable link. Same thing for these 4 pictures. You can click anywhere on these 4 pictures. So this is what you call a hit target, right? The hit target is wherever someone can click to click through, right? You want to make those areas big. And this is twice as true on a mobile device, since people's fingers are tapping on their phones, and if you have big fat fingers like I do, they're maybe not as nimble. So if you can, the only exception to the rule is if you have more than one choice, right? And then in that case, it's fine. But you'll notice that I'm directing people to a destination to go. The shop now goes to the big overarching collection. These collection tiles, they go to the toys collection, the apparel collection, so on and so forth. Shop gift boxes goes to its own collection. Build your own box goes to the custom gift box builder. But give people a clear place to go, even if it's just a single product, right? Okay, so that's a good little bit about merchandising. Let's talk about homepage structure. I'm going to jump over to another site here. This is a site we did for Cups Coffee. They sell fresh roasted coffee subscriptions. But regardless of the type of product that they are selling, the structure of their homepage is pretty much the same as just about any other e-commerce website. Almost every e-commerce website is designed the same way as far as the homepage goes. In fact, the general structure of them are pretty much all the same, right? The homepage of any e-commerce website is built in blocks, right? So let's take a look at what those blocks are. Almost every online store you're going to see has a banner at the top of the page, right? Don't be fooled by the fact that the banner at the top of the homepage on this website runs to all four edges, right? This one at World's Freshest Coffee, we've got a big picture of a coffee roaster, right? And it touches 1, 2, 3, 4 edges, as opposed to London Porter, which touches no edges, right? It's free floating, so to speak, right? Both have the header at the top, right? But for Cups Coffee, the header sits on top of the homepage banner on the homepage, right? So the homepage banner is at the top. This is usually the first block of any e-commerce website. As we scroll down, we'll see more blocks. Well, this one has how it works, right? You can see a couple of steps to how it works. Then our next block is why we're better. Our next block is what's in the box. Our next block is try a sample, and then we hit the footer, right? Now, this website is very purposefully structured this way. We can see a similar block layout setup with London Porter. We've got, once again, the homepage banner at the top. We've got this block with the 4 collection tiles. We've got another block that has the gift box options. We've got another block with featured gifts, and we've got yet another block with just pictures, right? Now, this is what you want to think about when you're designing a homepage in terms of structure. When you're thinking about, okay, my e-commerce website is going to have some content on the homepage, what is that content going to be? Okay, so there's some very standard choices for this, and these 2 examples show a couple of them. Banner, I'd say, is a slam dunk. You're gonna have a banner. You just are, right? I would say a very common choice after that would be collection links, right? Sending people to a specific collection of products to buy. If you're selling kitchenware, it could be pots and pans, it could be some food gifts, it could be, I don't know, spoons and spatulas, that sort of thing, or apparel like aprons, right? Couple of different collections of your products. Featured products, I think I mentioned we generally recommend. Branded text, or explainer text. We did a big section on Cups Coffee, just very quickly explaining to people how it works, right? They get the finest specialty coffee from around the world. They hand roast it in small batches. They deliver it right to your doorstep. And then they give you premium to-go cups and lids with every delivery, right? Very simple explanation. A lot of times these are texts. It could be, you could just have a sentence or 2, right, about what it is that your store does or is about, like why your store exists, right? In this case, we wrote 4 sentences and we put some pictures next to them, right? That's all this really is when you get down to it. We designed it to look really nice, but in the end, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember what I said about don't give people a whole lot of stuff to read, right? We didn't want to have 4 sentences. So we took those 4 sentences and broke them up into 4 pieces, right? Now instead of having a paragraph, you just have 4 quick bits to read. So that's a great strategy. I think when we launched this site, it had a video right in here. We've since removed that video because I think it was out of date. These guys wanted to include some information about why their product is great, right? We did a custom version of this, but you could do a version of this these are really just bullet points, right? This is a headline and this is some bullet points. We designed it a little bit and put a picture behind it, and it has a call to action, join the club, right? We did put some, this is essentially the same deal. It's a headline, what's in the box, and then a lot of bullet pointed information, right? If you're interested in what's in the box, we've at least communicated to you like, hey, we'll tell you, right? And now if you want to take a few minutes to read, then great, right? And of course, try a sample, right? This is just an incentive. You could essentially think of this as a single product to buy, right? So just to quickly reiterate, very common example of blocks is blocks you would include would be a banner, a set of collections, a set of featured products, some text about your brand or your store, whatever it's about, maybe a video, any kind of lifestyle photography you want to include, some store orientation. I don't think these 2 particular sites include an Instagram feed, but we've done that for quite a few stores. It's a very common thing, and in fact, a lot of store templates include that now. So these are all very common examples of blocks, right? One nice thing to think of when you're thinking about your homepage blocks is they're going to look slightly differently. They're going to look slightly different, I should say, on mobile than they do on desktop. Let's take a look at how London Porter looks on the desktop version versus mobile, right? I'm going to pull this in a little bit, and I'm going to open another copy of it in a new window. And I'm going to do a little bit of trickery through my browser to show the mobile version of this, or I should say an approximation of the mobile version, right? So I want to point out something we did with this site in particular that is a little bit tricky and a little bit sneaky, but very effective. Pull this down just a little bit so you can see, right? So on the desktop version, our homepage banner is very wide, right? One of the issues that we have run into when designing sites is when you make a homepage banner that's very wide, when you look at this banner on a mobile device, it shrinks down and it is now still the same width, but it is not very tall, right? So what we did was we created something in our admin that allows this site allows you to upload a separately designed version of the homepage banner in a different format, right? So when someone goes to this website on their desktop computer, it pulls this version of the image, which is very wide and looks great. When they go to the mobile version of the site, it pulls this horizontally designed version of the banner. So it fills up the space, the text is easier to read, and it's just a better overall user experience. Now, this is customized, but there are a few newer out-of-the-box themes that Shopify or Magento or WooCommerce that they're available. They're just themes you can buy off of Theme Forest or one of those other sites that sells themes. Some of the newer themes have an option in the admin to do this, but we have adopted this as a best practice. Just because, when things get really small and hard to read, you're less likely to pay attention to them, So this is not a bad idea to do. Let's see, what else? Um, in terms of homepage blocks, most themes, I should say, not most themes that aren't built custom, most out-of-the-box themes on either Shopify or Magento or WooCommerce, they'll give you a little bit of flexibility in creating blocks. I'm going to show you the Shopify version of this with a test store that we set up. This is using the debut theme. If you Google Shopify themes, you'll find the list of free and sometimes paid Shopify themes that Shopify recommends. This is debut, right? We've done a little bit of setup to this. We've added some banners. We've added a couple of products, a little bit of coffee. But I want to show you this so we can compare the front end and the back end of this theme, right? So like any e-commerce website, we've got a header here with the logo and the menu and carts, all that kind of jazz, and then we've got a footer. In between, we have the home page, and this has a banner at the top of the home page. This has some what I call branded text. This is another block. Then it has a featured product, a single one, which is another block. This is another slideshow or gallery, however you want to think about this. We have one slide in here. I think we need to add another. But this is another block. And we have a block that is just a picture with some text next to it. This is a block that's available in this theme. And then we have a featured collection that shows off a few products that belong to this collection, and then another slideshow, and then the footer, right? So let's take a look at what this theme looks like through the administrative controls, right? So this is the back office. This is the Shopify admin for this debut test theme here. All right, this is the default when you come in. So if I want to mess with the theme, I click on themes here, and it's going to show me this is the theme you're using, and I'm going to click on customize. And you'll see over here, this actually shows me all of the blocks that are on my homepage. I can even add more blocks if I want to, and it's even showing me a preview over here. Magento and WooCommerce work a little bit differently, but I think you can, in terms of showing you a preview, I think a lot of themes for WooCommerce and Magento work almost exactly the same as this conceptually, where they show you the list of blocks, and then if you, let's say I wanted to switch the order of these two blocks, this is why I'm hot in French press. I'm just going to drag and drop and reorder them, and now you'll see the French press is above, right? Oh no, I want to take my featured collection here and put it just below the French press. I can drag and drop it, pretty easy. Let's say, actually, I want to, you know what? This is too many products to show. Actually, before we do that, let's take a look at the banner here. So I'm going to click on this banner. This is showing me the picture, right? I can change it. I can remove it. This will allow me to upload something from my desktop. I can set the text on top of here if I want to. I can do whatever I want. Now, just as a note, sort of rule of thumb, if you want, you can add text through this admin, and it will display it as HTML. Shopify will even give you, it's got these controls up here that will show you, hey, this is what it's going to look like on mobile versus desktop, right? Now, one of the things you'll notice is that it automatically crops this picture, right? Here, this picture, the top of the picture is at the filter, and we're seeing the edge of this coffee pot, it looks like. When I click on the mobile version, now it shows me a completely different cropping, right? Now I'm seeing the top was at the top of the picture was at the top of this coffee filter here. Now it's all the way up to this person's chest. That coffee pot that was on the left side, it's completely cropped out, right? Now, this can become a real problem with photography. It depends on what you're shooting. If you had a picture on a homepage and your product was over here on the left, let's say we can change this around, but let's say you had a pair of sunglasses here on the left and you wanted to have text over here in the middle. If you, on a mobile device, whatever is over here is going to get cropped out, right? This becomes even more problematic. Say you have a picture of a person wearing sunglasses. You kind of have to have this person in the middle because the middle is the only thing here that doesn't get cropped off when we go to the mobile version, right? Whatever is in the middle of the picture here is good. Whatever is on the sides of it, you're probably going to lose, right? Say you had a person's head framing this mobile version. Well, now when you go to the desktop version, it's probably going to crop somewhere around their nose or their mouth, right? We've seen this happen quite a bit. You also have text running over someone's face if their face is in the middle, and you end up having to put their face in the middle because the sides of this thing gets cropped off. It's a real pain in the butt. So one way we found to solve this problem is to use these different using two different versions, right? One for mobile and one for desktop. The other thing we sometimes recommend is instead of using HTML text on top of here, if you have Photoshop or you're creating graphics in Photoshop, to put all of the text in the image as part of the graphic, right? And you can literally remove this text and it disappears. And now you'll just see whatever is in there, right? You can figure out a way to get rid of the Shop Now button, but if you have all of the text in your image, then maybe you can get around this issue with your text and going in weird places on your picture. So that's just something to note with your homepage banner. Reload this because that definitely gets a little tricky. But let's say I want to add a new section. I can. At least in this theme, it will give me a list of new stuff. I can add a gallery. I could add a logo list. I could add a slideshow. Let's say I wanted to add a newsletter sign up. It's got a form for that. I want to add that to my site. So I'm going to hit add. Yes, I do. And I can change the text in here. I can show the background. For this kind of thing, you would need to connect your MailChimp account or your email service account, but you get the idea. You can set this thing in here. You could say, oh, I want to reorder it. I want to move it up and down the page. Actually, I'm going to get rid of it. I can just remove it, right? So let's see. So that's sort of the basic ideas. Now that you have an idea of how these homepage block works, here's what I would recommend as a strategy. Plan first, right? Rather than going in here and saying, oh, okay, I'm going to arrange a bunch of blocks, right? What we do is wireframing. This is a wireframe we created for Cups Coffee. You don't have to do this in Illustrator or any sort of computer program. You can do this with pencil and paper just fine, right? But it's much faster to think about, okay, what do I want on homepage? Just sketching it out first, then try and work on all the little details, right? So we had a discussion with this client about what do we want to include on the homepage of Cups Coffee. So we presented some ideas to them and got their feedback. But it's as simple as this, right? There's a banner up at the homepage. It's going to have some text on it and a button to join the club. We don't know what this text is going to say yet, right? But we know we're going to have a picture and some text. We don't know what that picture is yet. We don't know what the messaging is yet. But what we want to do is convince people to sign up for a subscription, right? That is the entire purpose of this. And purpose is more important than specific content at this phase, right? Next thing we wanted to do is explain how it works to somebody, right? This is another block. As I mentioned before, we said we want to explain to people that we're going to source the highest quality. You can see originally we decided to have some more details in here. We ended up removing those later on, right? But we're going to have a sentence, a picture, and some text, a sentence, a picture, and some text. This was sort of the general idea that we wanted to get. And by the way, like, I didn't invent this layout. This is very common to a lot of sites. So you can look at other sites, see what kind of blocks do they have on their homepage. What's the general layout they're using? And you can start to think about, oh, okay, our messaging, we could break it up into 4 pieces. We're going to have a headline. Each of those 4 pieces is going to have a headline. We want to create some art to go with each of those things and create a little bit more detailed explanation. If somebody wants to know more about this, they can, but they don't have to, right? We laid this out. Originally, they shot a video. We said, okay, we know this is going to go in here. We want to include what's in the box, and this is probably going to sit in a picture or on top of a picture, right? Bullet pointed list of why we're better. We originally just wrote this list out as a series of bullet points, right? And then we talked about, okay, we can dress it up a little bit more, right? But this is why I say start with the idea first. Start with the need, so you don't get too caught up in form, right? And oh, okay, we can have a block here that does this, that has room for this thing or that thing, because there's a lot of different forms that that a need can take, right? Try a sample. These are all real simple ideas, and a lot of times I start out just kind of sketching this out on a piece of paper, and then the next step, because I have clients and I want to look more professional, is I go into Illustrator and I make these, right? So we can all take a look at something, talk about it, and agree on it. And generally, you know, some organizations, there's just one person making decisions about their e-commerce website. And for a lot of companies, there might be 2 or 3 of you that need to have a discussion, and you need to discuss, well, okay, what can we do? And instead of needling and tweaking on building this stuff, I highly recommend just drawing something out, right? Even taking a couple of pieces of paper and, you know, making one block and then making another block, and thinking about, like, oh, you know, maybe the video should go underneath what's in a box, right? As you start to have these discussions internally, a lot of ideas come out. You can bounce them off each other, and you can rearrange things. You know, you can reorder things. You can think a little bit about, okay, if I want to tell people what's in the box, should I have it sit on top of a picture, or should I have a picture next to some text, right? But the important thing is that you can do this, right? Is that this is the idea we're getting down, and we're discussing it. Anyway, once again, my name is Kellis Landrum. I'm at True North Social. If you need any help with your e-commerce website, we're happy to help. Give us a call, shoot us an email. If you're just looking to get a better idea, I hope this helps. Have a great day.